Cheers. We made it to an evening with Silk Sonic. I've got my apparel ready. Today's a special day. I've got some Woodford Reserve here. So it's going to be a great night. You know what I'm saying? And before we get to anything, guys, I just want to say my Patreon is up and running. If you guys would like to see any exclusive content from me, it will all be uploaded there. And right now, I only have one tier for $3 a month. So if you feel so inclined to subscribe to that, then I would really extremely appreciate it. I do have a few videos already uploaded, including my first Tool album reaction for Opiate. So the full uncut version is up on my Patreon. I did try to upload it to YouTube, but it got blocked twice actually, and it was edited. So I spent the whole time editing that version, you know, spent hours and hours doing that. And unfortunately, if you guys would like to see that one, the only way to do so is going to be on my Patreon. I am hoping the other albums don't get blocked because I do want to put them up. If not, they will be there, as well as a couple of other reactions that got blocked, including Lil Nas X, That's What I Want, and Kanye West, Life of the Party. All three of those videos are up there. I have been having a good amount of issues with OBS and my screen recording software. Just tons of problems back to back. I think I got it figured out, but the problem is everything looks fine until I'm done with the video and I go back and watch the screen recording and the audio. Like, I get all this crackling and it just doesn't record right. I don't know why. And I've had that happen a couple times. So if you guys know why that happens, let me know. Everything looks fine from the meters and everything when I'm recording. But then after I'm done, I'm like, wow, this is unusable. So then I have to end up using my phone's audio, which is not that great. But anyways, guys, I am really excited for this album. I know I'm late as hell on this. 50,000 other people already posted their reactions, but that's fine. I'm not here to be the first one to do stuff. You know, I'm just here to give you guys the content that you wish for, and have a good time while doing so and enjoying this new music. It's been hard not to listen to this album, and the reason why I'm so late is because I went on a cruise this past weekend. And then I was editing that Tool video, which took forever due to the complications I had with the screen recording. I had to basically download all the songs and basically line them up with the video. It was a huge headache. It took me hours and hours. I'm glad I'm finally done with it, but I'm truly hoping that this doesn't happen again, because that is very time consuming and it prevents me from giving you guys the content as soon as possible because of these delays that I have to do while editing. But regardless, I did a couple of trial runs before this, so I think everything should be good. I am really praying to God that it is. But anyways, it's been hard not to listen to this, but I did it, and you know, now we can go ahead and finally peep this out. Yeah, so I have nothing else to say. Let's just go ahead and hop into this. As you guys know, I've already heard all the singles on this, including the intro, but we're gonna listen to them all anyway.
Who y'all came to see tonight? Who gon' get the ladies feeling something? Ooh, we gon' lock this groove in tight. Yeah, we'll lock it in there.
Well, alright. It is I, Blaster of the Universe, Boozilla himself. Fellas, I hope you got something in your cup. And ladies, don't be afraid to make your way to the stage for a band that I named Silk Sonic.
Just gonna go ahead and go to the next one.
Say baby, what you doing? Where you at? Oh, you got plans. Don't say that. Shut your trap. I'm sipping wine. In a robe. I look too good to be alone. I'ma leave the door open, girl. Let you feel the way I feel, and you want me like I want you tonight, baby.
let's go ahead and talk about the intro and Leave the Door Open. First off, I think that the incorporation of Bootsy Collins in this duo band record is phenomenal. He fits in so well, just based on what where he grew out of and the sound that he always plays and that he is known for. It's good to see him participate in this album, even if he's just a host. And I know that he made the band name, and I just think Silk Sonic, I've said this before, it's an incredible name. It sounds great. It's just very catchy, and I think it fits the vibe extremely well. Not only that, I think the intro does a great job of introducing you to the album, what is about to happen. Obviously, I haven't heard all the songs, but from the songs that I know, the ones that they've released, it fits the vibe very well, and I think they kind of give you everything that they are gonna give you, and that is what an intro is supposed to do. It's supposed to introduce you to this world and what you're going to be listening to for the next hour, or half hour to an hour or so. I think the intro does what it needs to. I don't think there's much to talk about there. As far as Leave the Door Open, I still think this is my favorite song thus far. Either that or Smoking Out the Window, but I'll say Leave the Door Open for now. But yeah, I mean, this track is great, man. It's fantastic. They are doing an amazing job of really embodying the sound of the 70s in every way possible. The production sounds clean, but not pristine to the point where it doesn't sound genuine to the genre, because obviously music in the 70s wasn't incredibly polished like a lot of the pop stuff today. So they still keep a bit of that feeling in there. I would think they went as far as possible to get the most authentic sound. That means recording everything through a console and getting that vibe out of it, and then probably doing a lot of processing out of the box, meaning not in the computer with plugins, going through all those rack mounts and basically running the audio through there to basically mix. And then I would assume they even went to the next step, which would be running everything through a tape machine, basically taking all the audio that is inside the computer, which a lot of that would have came from the processing out of the box. So they would track with all the outboard gear, get it into the computer, so it's recorded, the files are there, and then they would take that back out, route it into all the boxes, which we call outboard gear or whatnot. So basically all the compressors, equalizers, all that stuff, and then route it back into the computer, maybe do some processing there, and then go directly out into the tape machine and back into Pro Tools. So I mean, there's no way for me to know if that's exactly what they did, but I would think they probably went, they did at least some of those steps to make this sound vintage as possible. Because if you do everything in the box, you might get close, but you're not going to capture that emotion and that feeling that you got back in the day when everything was done out of the box. There was no in the box. And it's just an incredible arrangement. There are a lot of chord changes on this song. It sounds simple, but it's not a simple song to play. I learned it on the guitar. It's not that easy. So even though these songs sound really simple, the underlying composition of it all is actually very complex. And I would say it took them a while to come up with this stuff. And then, of course, you have that key change there at the end. The bridge on this, I think, adds a lot to the track. Without that bridge, I don't think this track would be the same. The bass tone sounds incredible. The background vocals, everything sounds good. But I don't want to go too deep into this song specifically because I've heard it a million times. But I do think this was a really good first single for them to drop, because they gave us this really slow, groovy song. And then after that, they gave us Skate, which is a more exciting song, more upbeat. And then they brought us Smoking Out the Window, which brought the comedic aspect to this, which I assume some of these other songs are probably going to have as well. Without further ado, I'm not going to talk too much about the songs that I've already heard, especially the ones that I've already reacted to. So I might not say anything about Smoking Out the Window and Skate, to be honest. unless I can think of something else that I didn't say in the other videos. But let's go ahead and get to the second track, Fly As Me.
1, 2, make you wanna.
Oh, right off gate here, this song sounds like a Anderson .Paak song. I forget which song it is, but it starts off the same way. It's got the same vibe. It's got that nice funky feeling to it. You guys will let me know down in the comments which song it is, but I know this sounds like an Anderson .Paak song off the bat. So let's get it.
Okay, now have you ever been with a player? Take you downtown where they treat me like the mayor. Take you to the crib where you take it upstairs. What's upstairs? Shit, I'ma show you later. Don't need a spatula, everything catered. Extra flavor. Go ahead, sprinkle some truffle on your mashed potatoes. I'm trying to love you. Is you gon' love me back? You only get what you give. Ain't you heard of that? Meet me halfway there. I deserve to be with somebody as fly as me. Somebody this fly. And you deserve to be seen with somebody as fly as me. Somebody this fly. Oh, don't let them trick you with the jib talk. Coming at you from a 1977 Monte Carlo. Hard act to follow. It's showtime, trying to boo you up like it's the Apollo. Your walk is vicious. Let's get down to business. You and me together. Woo, that's something different. Let's get it. If you don't know what we talking about, I'ma have the whole band help me spell it out. Yeah, if you don't know what we talking about, concert session, here's your lesson. Help me spell it out. F-L-L-Y. You ain't never seen nobody this fly. It's like we back in school again. Now come on, children, don't spell it out. F-L-L-Y. You ain't never seen nobody this fly. And I'm gone. I deserve to be with somebody as fly as me. Somebody this fly. And you deserve to be seen with somebody as fly as me. Somebody this fly. Oh, and I'm back. Somebody this fly. Yeah. And I'm looking for somebody this fly. I can't help it. I want it all. Still Sonic, let me get the 3 beats in a biscuit.
Damn. I think this may end up being like my favorite album of the year, to be honest. So let's talk about this one. Lyrically, I mean, I don't think there's much to talk about there. I don't think they meant to make this album lyrical in any sense. The main idea with these songs is the groove, it is the music, it's the melody, it's the feeling, not necessarily the lyrics. The lyrics are just about feeling good. You know, fly as me, you want to be fly, you want to have a chick that's fly, that looks good, whatever. So let's skip over the lyrics, not much to talk about there. But in terms of the song, this really reminds me a lot of Funkadelic and the way they did things, especially with like the horn sections when the trumpets came in and stuff. And obviously you got Bootsy Collins from Funkadelic in this, so I'm sure that a lot of the influence came from that band. And one thing I noticed really early on about this song is the lack of delay and reverb, mostly reverb, that they have on these other songs, that the reverb extends out miles and miles and miles. It's just this luscious, grand thing. With this one, it's a lot more about the space in between. So they're making space for all the percussion and the rhythmic elements of the song, rather than them creating this reverb over top of the harmony sections, which adds this lusciousness to the song. With this song, it makes sense why they didn't use those long reverbs. It just wouldn't work with something like this. You have to have the pockets to really fit the instruments in. So this is very groove centered, and for that matter, you can't add those incredible, those really long reverbs. It just wouldn't work. So the main focus of the song is definitely the percussion, the bass, and the guitar. Basing the guitar, we're playing the main riff. I love the addition of the organ in this, and I only heard it at the end there, like on that last little chorus, which was incredible, where they added those background harmonies, and it just gave you that extra oomph. That last chorus is really important, so you really want to get the people excited for it. You want to make them come back and listen to it again. And I think the addition of the harmonies, and I think the organ, I don't know if the organ was present throughout the whole song. Again, it's hard for me to enjoy these songs while simultaneously trying to dissect everything. So please bear with me, guys. I know you guys want me to break them down as much as possible, but I am still trying to enjoy them, because if I'm just trying to strictly break everything down, it takes the excitement out of it, because I'm trying to hyper focus on everything that's going on, and it's actually extremely difficult to do. And this is an album where I do want to sit back and enjoy, rather than trying to dissect everything and really trying to be so analytical about all that's going on, because that's going to take all the feeling away from the music. So just a quick disclaimer there. I know I talked about delay and reverb earlier. One thing that was really audible on this, and I've been talking about it a lot recently, is the slapback delay. You can hear it a lot on Anderson's vocals, specifically during like the verse parts where there is more space between every instrument. It's a lot more scarce, and it's sparse, not scarce. It's a lot more sparse, and really not much of Bruno here. I think besides the end there on the bridge, he came in and on the last chorus, I think. But other than that, I don't think I heard Bruno really at all on this. I think that's really all I have to say. Oh, during the bridge, that bass was really powerful. That bass was very present, extremely present. I know with some speakers, that part probably sounds phenomenal. Let's go ahead and move on to track number 4, After Last Night, with Thundercat and Bootsy Collins. Awesome. Big fan of Thundercat. I love his bass tone. He's got a really specific bass tone where I think if you hear it, you kind of know it's him. And obviously he's got that really massive bass that I think it's custom made with a huge pickup in the middle. It's like this big. I think it's just one pickup. I hope Bootsy Collins is actually doing something here, but they already have Thundercat as the bassist, so he's probably just talking over the track.
Damn, I don't even know who I was last night. It's just something about you.
Okay, I know I'm stopping really early on, but first thing I heard was some chorus or a phaser effect on the drums as soon as they came in, and then now I'm hearing Thundercat in the background vocals, and you've got some really audible sound effects going on. I don't know who this lady is talking right now, but I just wanted to say that real quick.
You just made me.
And obviously the reverb is back.
Was it good for you?
Oh, baby. Now, I don't know what you did when you did what you did, but you did it, girl. See, normally I don't stutter, but you did do it to me.
Supersonic. Wishing on a shooting star, say a prayer for me, and hope it comes true. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Ah, yeah.
Throw my phone out the window, there's no player in me. Those days are through.
Those days are over, baby.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Wait a minute now.
You put it on me like I never felt before. That gushy, good, girl, I want some more. Sweet, sticky, thick, and pretty. You changed the game.
What'd you do?
After last night, I think I'm in love with you.
I think I'm in love with you.
Woke up and I can't get you out of my head.
I tried.
ready. You changed the game after last night. After last night, I think I'm in love with you.
I think I'm in love with you.
Woke up and I can't get you out of my head.
I've tried. Come on. Freak. Silk, Sonic, sing. Here I come, baby. Here I come, girl.
After last night, I think I'm in love with you. I think I'm in love with you. Woke up and I can't get you out of my head. This morning, and you're running through my mind, baby.
Woo, bass, come on.
Last night, I don't know what to do. Oh, you got to tell me when I'm gonna see you again.
Ah, yeah, Bob.
That synthesizer line, the where it went really high pitched, that reminded me of some song, and I can't think of. It might be a Bruno Mars song, I don't know, but it really reminded me of a song that I know. Man, these songs are all so good. We got Bruno back, got a much bigger part on this, including most, if not all, of the background vocals and some of the lead vocals there. So Anderson took a step back here. In terms of Thundercat, he does have his signature tone here, but it's not as noticeable as a lot of his other songs. But there was a part there at the end where he had a nice little transition lick, and then you could really kind of hear his tone coming through a good bit. In terms of the other instrumentation, you have the wah guitar, obviously that is extremely present in funk music and soul, R&B, that kind of stuff. They actually had a guitar solo at the end that was really low, extremely low. If you were listening to this on like a cell phone or some other type of playback system that might not accurately present all of the music for you, or maybe has really small speakers, you could have maybe completely missed that guitar solo. But it was there. It still had the wah on it, but they added some distortion over top of it and some reverb. You have glockenspiel, I think it is. I always get confused between the xylophone and the glockenspiel. You guys let me know down below, because I don't really know the difference between them. Then I know you have like marimbas, which are made of wood, and there's another similar instrument. But regardless, that's besides the point. I do think that Anderson .Paak had overdubs during the verses. It wasn't just one solo vocal. It sounded like there was more than one vocal. So I think he had an overdub going through the whole verse section. And one other thing that I noticed was, I believe, was a vocoder during some sections, and it was really for a short period amount of time, but I think there was a vocoder present at some points there. I think during like the choruses they would bring it in and out. Another great song. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I'm gonna dislike any of these songs, especially because we only have 3 more that I haven't heard. So it's a really short album, honestly, and I'm kind of glad that they did it this way. I think they're really smart with the way they've been promoting this album, rolling out all of these singles, the album rollout. The only thing that I've said in the past is I wish they would have released this close to the summer, like probably at the end of spring next year. But regardless, I feel like people are still going to be playing this a good amount by that point. This is one of those albums that I think will age very well, just due to its timeless sound. And with all of these songs, they make sure that they give you a little something extra at the end, whether it be a really well put together bridge section, or just changing up the last chorus and adding stuff, taking stuff out. It just really adds for a really intriguing listen that you don't get tired and bored of listening to it. I think that's all I have. And you had some horn sections come in and out of this song as well, but I think that's all I've got for this one. let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Smoking Out the Window. So I'm not going to say much about this one because we've already reacted to it. So let's go ahead and get to it.
Must have spent 45,000 up in Tiffany's. Oh no! Got a badass kids running around my whole crib like it's Chuck E. Cheese. Whoa, whoa! Smoking out the window. Smoking out the window. Singing, how could she do this to me? How could she do this to me? Oh, I thought that girl belonged to only me. But I was wrong, 'cause she belonged to. Just the other night, she was gripping on me tight, screaming Hercules. Got me in the club looking for a new love, someone help me please. Baby, why you doing this? Why you doing this to me, girl? Not to be dramatic, but I wanna die. So, yeah, she belong to everybody. She belong to everybody. Oh no! Look here, baby, I hope you find whatever it is that you need. But I also hope that your trifling ass is walking around barefoot in these streets. Look out! Girl, it breaks my heart that you ain't right here with me. Now I gotta give you back to the city. Oh, you got me smoking out the window, singing, how could you do this to me? How could you do this, baby? Oh, I thought that girl belonged to only me. But I was wrong. She belonged.
I think this might be my favorite song on the album, or the ones that I've heard so far. I think it might take Leave the Door Open spot. I think. Let me know, you guys, what's your favorite song of the album down below. I think it's awesome when songs are lyrically very simple and just most people could, like relate or understand, but to come up with the song about this certain thing is harder than you would imagine. Like, I think people always try to approach songwriting as like some really grandiose, hard thing to do, and they try to make it the deepest they can. And I'm guilty of that. It's sometimes very hard to just simplify it down and be like, you know what, let's write it about the easiest thing you can think of. I don't know. It's a really strange phenomenon, but it is harder than you think to come up with a song like this that really anybody could come up with. But again, there's not much for me to talk about here. If you would like to see my thoughts on the song, go check out my reaction to this song in particular. I will link it down below. Other than that, let's go ahead and move on to Put On a Smile.
Oh, look here, fellas. Take it from your Uncle Bootsy. Ain't no shame begging in the rain. Tell her how you really feel.
Switch up the vibe, okay. Oh, this is gonna be a really heartfelt song. I can feel it. So I'm gonna start over. Let me. Okay. I know this is gonna sound kind of weird, but that first hit and the piano chords and everything really remind me of Paolo Nutini, Iron Sky. It's I believe it's the same chord, and the groove of it is similar. I just wanted to point that out because it came into my mind. So let's go ahead and keep going here.
Pretend when I'm out with my friends I ain't thinking about you. I could pretend like I ain't in my feelings, but that ain't true. Oh, now I try to be the life of the party. Oh, not buying shots to everybody, but it's all just an act. I can't have you back. Without you I've been going crazy, trying to put on a smile, trying to find
I like that one. I like that one a good bit. I think it switched up the vibe quite a bit here. I think the closest song that comes to this one in terms of the feeling and the emotion of it is Leave the Door Open. But even then, like, this one has that real feeling that if you listen to this when you're going through something, maybe a heartbreak or something, like, you might shed a tear. Like, there was a good bit of emotion here that is not present in the other songs, and not that that's a bad thing or that it makes this one better by any means, but it's just that this one kind of stands out to me in terms of how you consume it, at least for how I did. Like, the other songs, either they were funny, upbeat, groovy songs, or maybe like Leave the Door Open, where it's a little bit slower pace, but it's still romantic. It's still got that kind of feeling to it. This one is a lot more like a heartbreak kind of song, and not necessarily lyrically, but the feeling of it just kind of reminds me of that. All the arrangements and the structure of these songs are really similar. They're not deviating too much from the formula that they've created for this album. It's all in the same ballpark, but they make sure that they don't do it in a manner where it feels repetitive. Every song feels new. It feels fresh, of course, with a vintage vibe, modernized, but they all have their own characteristic. They all have their own feeling. So I think they did a really good job with this. I don't think they tried to overdo anything. They wanted to make a record that sounded like the 70s, and they did it. Like, it sounds just like it. Right off the bat, I noticed that the drums were kind of damp, and I love the build-ups to the chorus with the drums and the strings kind of just building up that tension and that climax to get you to that chorus. As far as the other instruments, the piano, I'm pretty sure it was a grand piano. It sounded like it. Wah guitar again, and at some portions they put a ton of reverb on the guitar and kept panning it left and right for these little, just like kind of these ear candies. It was really nothing more than that. Glockenspiel, I think, because the Glockenspiel came back once again. I think it's been present in all of these songs, to be honest. There's a few things that are in every song. One, obviously the bass and the drums, that's been in every song. The vocals, right? I think those three we can mark out. But also the Glockenspiel, I think, has been in every song. And possibly the piano. I don't know. I don't think the guitar has been in every song. Strings, not on every song. And horns, not on every song. That Glockenspiel, though, I'm pretty sure it has been on every song. And also, I think I heard like a clavichord in there. Either a clavichord or harpsichord. I don't really know the difference, to be honest, but I know it was one of those two. I really like the song, though. It's probably been one of my favorites so far. All right, we're getting to the end of the album here. Let's go to 777. Okay.
Blow the dice for me. Put your pretty ass lips.
Wow. Okay, so that guitar, you got a fuzz on there, and it is extremely focused in the mid-range, but not only the mid-range, it is like a high mid, like the high mids of the guitar. So it gives that really quacky duck effect on there, and they are playing whatever. Let's restart here though.
Put your pretty ass lips together, blow it real nice for me. Yeah, I'm trying to hit a lip and slide to the deal sip in the morning. Wow, Papa need a brand
Hear the
new
reverb
phone.
there.
Hot hand, they're not gonna believe me, but check the recording. Let's go. Yes, Lord. Spin the wheel.
What is that thing? I know they spin it, and I know he just says spin it for me. I know it's like a little thing where you go like that, and it makes that. And they've had that on this album on several songs, honestly, but I have no idea what it's called. Let me know down below.
Give me the tips, 'cause I'm about to go all in.
Organ is back.
I can see the champagne falling. I got bills to pay, but bills can wait. Fuck it, we ballin'. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. Moonwalk to the money like a Mike Jack. Yes, I'm faded. People dilated, but the man in the mirror saying, "Go on, get your pick. Let's go."
I think this one was kind of a mixture between like Skate and Smoking Out the Window. Skate because of the groove of the faster tempo, and then Smoking Out the Window because of the lyrics, the comedic aspect of it. It was pretty funny, pretty humorous. Very interesting song. The organ made a comeback on this one. Love the organ, love the incorporation of it. And several songs, I think when it's used in the right manner, it adds so much, and I think it is overlooked quite a bit on a lot of songs. One thing that I noticed on this one was the bass tone was quite a bit deeper than a lot of other songs, and I don't think it was just where he was playing on the bass. I think it was more of the actual mixing, and probably not much the mixing, actually more so the tracking and the recording of it. So they chose a different tone for this song. It lacked a lot of that mid-range and that high end that the other songs had, which kind of make the bass more audible in a lot of situations. But this one did seem a lot deeper. The fundamentals were probably near like that 50 hertz range, 50 to 80 hertz, whereas the other ones might be from like 80 to 100 or 120. So you had funk guitar pinned left, it would come in and out, and then obviously you had the fuzzy guitar, the quacky fuzzy guitar that started off the song and would come in and out as well. Let's go ahead and get to the last two. I'm just gonna play Skate and Blast Off together because I've done Skate once again. There's not gonna be much for me to talk about there. I think the string section on this is a lot more present and a lot more audible than a lot of the other songs that do have a string section in it, where this one, it is a lot more main focused than the other ones, where it's mostly just to add on and accentuate the harmony and just kind of make it sound a little bit better, a little bit more lush, a little bit more full. That's all I wanted to say. I know I said I wasn't going to stop, but the only things I want to mention is the percussion in the song, like the bongos and probably some congas. It adds a lot more on this song than all the other songs, I think. And obviously the drums count as percussion as well, but I mean percussion outside of the drums. So all of the congas, all the bongos, all of the other stuff. I think they are a lot more audible on this, and they are pinned center which kind of blends in with the drums a little bit rather than the others where they are panned either left and right and they're kind of to the side a little bit, a lot lower. So it really just adds on to the texture of the song, kind of adds a little bit more groove, but they are not as audible on the other songs as this one. And another thing that I wanted to point out is I know I mentioned this in the smoking out the window reaction, where I thought they had a sitar in the back. For those of you guys that don't know what a sitar is, it's an Indian instrument, really long, a bunch of strings, a bunch of frets, and it has that kind of sound, that metallic-y, kind of phasey sound to it. And I've heard it on a few other songs here as well. Now, I saw a comment that said that it might not be a sitar, but it might be an actual guitar with like a phaser on it and something else. I forget what he said, maybe a fuzz pedal or something. And I'm not aware of that. I'm not aware of using those effects to make the guitar sound like a sitar, but it very well could be. But I did hear that once again on this song, it was slightly panned to the left. I don't think I'd noticed that on the first time I reacted to it. So that's really all I wanted to say. Everything else, like I said, will be in the actual skate reaction video. If you haven't seen it, link will be down below as well. But without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get to this last song, Blast Off, and finish off the album.
Clouds are blowing, don't know where we're going, but we're levitating up in this room. All these colors, just like rainbows in summer, got us smiling like our dreams just came true.
Sending love from up above. Happy trails, Baba.
Cool little reverb there in the back. Washed out reverb with the slapback delay again on Bootsy Collins' voice. I feel like a broken record talking about this record because, like I said, everything is really similar in terms of like how everything is arranged. A lot of these instruments are present in many of these songs. So like I said, the drums, the bass, the vocals. Obviously, those three are in every single song. The glockenspiel, I think, is in every single song. I believe that's all. There's a couple of other instruments that are present in a lot of these songs, including the strings. I think we're maybe in, how many songs are on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 songs. The strings were probably present in at least 6 or 7 maybe. There was a couple of other ones where the horns took the spotlight instead of the strings. There was, I think, 1 or 2 where there was both. There was a few songs with the guitar on it and the piano, which was present in a lot of the songs as well. So again, I love the song, I love the album, but I just don't want to say the same thing I've said about every other song. The main difference between all these songs is obviously the lyrics, but mostly the feeling, the groove changes, the chord progression obviously changes, but like I said, the arrangements and the compositions, the structures of the songs are really similar, and I think they did that for a reason. Like, they wanted this album to have a very specific sound. They wanted to conjure that. They wanted to make it sound a specific way, and I think they made it happen, and they don't need to do much more than this, to be honest. I would love to see them make more music together, but part of me thinks that this is the one album we're going to get from them, and they're going to probably break off and do their own thing. I've heard Bruno Mars is coming out with an album. They both got their own stuff going on. It would be nice for them to make a comeback, make a second album or something, just stick together. But I really like the revival of the 70s. Anything from the music and the feeling of it to fashion, I see a lot of stuff resurfacing that is very inspired by the 70s, and that is one of my favorite eras for both of those things, music and fashion. I think the 70s was it just seems like a really fun time. I wish I could have experienced it, to be honest. Silk Sonic, man, they did it. It's you know, it's a great album. I wouldn't be surprised if this won album of the year next year, to be honest. And I don't think there's much else to say. Bruno Mars, Anderson .Paak, Bootsy Collins, Thundercat, the rest of the band. Thank you guys all so much. Anybody that was involved in making this album, you guys did a great job. I'm sure people of all ages will appreciate this, from, you know, older folks that were there when this music was coming out, to the younger folks that may either be familiar with it from their parents, or even younger kids that are not familiar with this style of music. I think a lot of people can appreciate this. Both sides can take a lot away from this, because on one side you got kids that don't appreciate older music. They don't want to listen to it because it's their parents' music or their grandparents' music, and they don't want to be that lame kid that listens to it. On the other end, you have the old folks that a lot of them, you know, they say the same things every generation says. Music is not the same anymore. It's not. There's no quality music. These artists aren't making real music anymore, when in fact they definitely are. There is good music out there. There is good music coming out. There is always good music out. Maybe the stuff that plays on the radio and the stuff that is incredibly popular might not be great to your standards, but to say that there is no good music out there and that modern music doesn't sound good is ridiculous. I just think that the industry is extremely saturated right now compared to any other time, because we have access to everything. We have all the tools that we've never had before. We can make music with a $200 laptop and put it out for everyone to hear. We can put it on Spotify. With that comes the incredible amount of music that we have today, and a lot of it is pretty bad, but a lot of it is incredible. So if you're one of those people that says there's no good music out there, go do some research. If you've heard this album, you probably understand that there is good music out there. Go find some. There's a lot. And for those of you that are young, that don't know this sound, are not familiar with it, go listen to some Motown. Go put on some Bootsy Collins and Funkadelic. Go listen to that. You might take something away from it. You might not enjoy it, but give it a shot. You never know. This has been Samurai. I am once again clocking out, guys. Again, the full unedited version will be up on Patreon first and foremost, and I will edit the YouTube one. So if you want to see the full unedited reaction, please go check out my Patreon. I would really appreciate it. And I am really hoping that the YouTube version doesn't get taken down, because YouTube loves to take down my stuff. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for checking back in with me. This has been Samurai and another reaction from myself. Arigato and sayonara.